cool. It's cool. But then they'll find, oh my God, my father had one of these on his, and that's the thing he remembers. That's the important thing. So it's just the way it is. And I got more of this stuff than I know what to do with. But it's all interesting. This I'm very proud of. This was best of show at the George Barris concours in Culver City. And I got that one for the two two little rolls, match set of rolls. But I also won the very last best of show that they ever had. And I have that trophy. In fact, I got 2 trophies. They presented me one there. And then a month later, they sent me one all scribed up in that, which was nice. But I had George sign the first one. But it was really very nice. That's winning best of show at Hurlingham in England, which was their best of show. It's like Pebble Beach there. I was a happy camper.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
Yeah, that was something. That was my dad. He was an old vaudevillian.
Nice. And you like mugs.
Oh yeah. That big one with the dog on it up there, the two-handed one.
Yeah.
It's got a toad in the bottom. It bottoms up, you're looking at a toad looking at you.
Well, I got a two-handed mug from Pete.
Really cool.
And there's no toad in it. What's up with that, Pete?
Yeah,
I'll get you one of those.
Yeah.
I'll get you one.
The desk, this is from 1906, 1907.
Oh.
And that's very interesting, the desk, because this part just lifts off, then this piece lifts out, and then the bottom parts are in 4 little sections. And they kept all the maps. These are all the maps of all the territories and states at that time showing the railroads where they existed. And they would put this on the train, and it would go up, maybe 80 miles to some little town, and they would put in the train station there, and the town would start. This is interesting. This is a driver's license international traveling pass from 1924. Well, it's made out to John Pierpont Morgan and signed by him and his chauffeur. And I also have 2 of the Rolls-Royce certificates guaranteeing their Rolls-Royce, his Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost, and also his 20 horsepower Baby Ghost. That's real history. People nowadays say, who the hell's J.P. Morgan? Well, one of the time, he was quite the guy. So, anyhow, the desk, it just everything has got a little history to it. And it's a lot of fun. And I love to share it with people, and I'm glad you came to look at this. And if you have any questions about anything, please, you can't shut me up.
And that's is that what would be called a musket, or?
Yeah, that is a Springfield 1876. I have 2 of those. One is made into it was attachable to a rack, the coat rack, which is in the corner. And that one, they fire them. I fire the things all the time. Or I used to. Just recently did. It shoots 45-70 with a 500 grain bullet. And you can shoot it across the camera. I love to shoot it at water towers. And it goes boom, boom, and puts a dent in it. It won't go through it. Just funnier than hell.
I see Rodeo Drive ribbons here. What are you taking this year?
These are some. Pardon me?
Rodeo Drive. I see these ribbons. Are you taking anything this year?
Yeah. I always hit the Rodeo Drive. Bruce Myers always has a nice spot for me. Nice man.
What are you going to take?
Take the black prints.
Okay.
Always take the current cars.
Okay.
So.
Wow, I thought I had a lot of event pages.
Well, that's about half of them.
Yeah.
They're all over. I've got them from the 60s.
Jeez.
I even got crazy.
I got a long way to go. Yeah.
These are interesting. That's the Frenet Bentley. They did that model of it, and then the French did this one. This is the car as it originally looked, and you'll notice there's quite a bit of flat windshield and no chrome on the top of the fender. I did all that. But it was done well enough that Rolls and Bentley both claimed it, and all the clubs did. And that's the one that is now.
Right.
There it is. And then this was a kind of an important one. I used to be in Ferraris in the early days. And this was the bread van. This is how I brought it back. And let me get this out of here. This is called Rebel Rebel. It's the only book ever done on an individual Ferrari. And the bread van, it was built by Count Volpe. He had Bizzarini designed it. Drogo built it on a 61 short wheelbase Berlinetta chassis. And it was built to beat the GTOs, to be faster than the GTO Ferraris when they first came out. And they were. Jeez. And what had they done to it is that they lowered it. They moved the windshield at a cant from this on a GTO to this, chopped it off in back, dropped the engine and trans and everything, and moved it back 18 inches and dry sumped it. So it was lower and better air resistant, and it was unbelievable. And Enzo Ferrari hated it. And it was Scuderia Serenissimo, which was Count Volpe. He did that. And they drove it and had a hell of a time. They drove it all over the place. And I ended up paying an unbelievable price of $2,800 for it. That's what Ferraris were selling for. In '66, I bought a 65 GTB short nose and a 64 Lusso, paid $10,000 for the pair of them, delivered to me in Detroit from Francorchamps, Belgium. No joke, unbelievable. So anyhow, when I got it, I stripped it. I got pictures there. It's stripping the thing, and you can see it looks horrible. And we repainted it, and I put red. And he would never allow the Ferrari signatures on it or anything be painted red or anything. So when I got it here, that's what I did. I drove it from New York to Detroit. We were there for the SCCA convention, and that was the bread van. That's yours truly with my very small little delicate Ferrari patch on it. That was my wife with the 265 GTS Spider, the first one that was ever brought into the United States. When we went to pick this one up and our Tour de France, Coco Canetti and Luigi Canetti said, "Could you please take the 275 GT, Spider back for this convention for me?" So we said, "What the hell, yeah." So Dick Merritt drove it, and I drove the bread van. My friend drove the other one until we had a little mishap on the way, and then he jumped in the bread van with me. We got Nick going through New York State at 130 miles an hour, and I had to... They didn't put me in jail. They just said, "Get the hell out of the state. We don't you ever come back through here with that car." Yes, sir. And that's what we did. So anyway, this was the end result. So there's two models of it. One as it originally appeared, and then when it's currently done. Now, funny story, I sold that car to Sonny Bono when I got out here because we needed a roof on his house. And it was on a Saturday. He came out. Sonny Bono, that's when Sonny and Cher were a big deal. And so he says, "Yeah, I'll take that car." And he writes me a check. And anyhow, I get a call the next morning from the police. And they said, "Mr. Wales, your registered car, it's half on the sidewalk, half in the street in front of Whiskey A Go-Go on Sunset Boulevard, and it's out of fuel. And we don't want to haul it because if we do, we might damage the car. So if you come and put some fuel in it, get it the hell out of here, we're okay." So, man, I got down there and put some gas in it. Boom, brought it home. And I called Bono, wouldn't talk to me. So I talked to a couple of his handlers, New York Gunsels, and they said, "Well, we want to have a meet." And I said, "That's fine. Let's have a meet because he's going to either take care of that or I'm going to put his ass in jail." And they said, "You can't do that. That's Bono." I said, "Yeah, I can. That's called fraud. He wrote me a rubber reader, man. A check bounced. And he's not going to cover it." They said, "Okay, we want to have a meet." So we said, "Come over Monday." And anyhow, they came over. And my next door neighbor this way, it was assistant district attorney for L.A., Dave Compton. And the guy on the left side, the other side here, was the chief corporation lawyer for Litton Industries. And so we had our meet. The guy I said, "Here's what we're going to do. Since he didn't damage the car, I'll take it back. No problem." And I said a couple other things but I won't repeat it here. So anyway, that was how that happened. So I ended up selling it to Asa Clark, who was then the Ferrari owner president of LA. And now at a really good price. And it's since been owned by a lot of people. And anyway, I got to Monterey about 15 years ago, 12, 15 years ago. And there's my old bread van parked down there, and the guy that owns it is walking around. That's my car. I said, everybody's graping at it. Ooh. And I said, that was my car. And he went, yeah, sure, that's your car. Yeah. What's your name? I said, Gary Wells. He said, it was your car. I said, yes, it was. And I said, you know what? I still have the original license plate off that car, big black thing. And it's Modena 68939. And he said, yeah? Because there was no other plate on the car. They painted it on the front of the snout. I ended up selling it for more than twice what I sold the car for. The license plate. Honest to God, true story.
Wow.
Well, not quite twice, but pretty close. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So but then nobody cared about Ferraris. It was just a very expensive thing. 12 cylinders, got to do the valves. And, who knew? I've had 11 of them pre-1966. That and $3 will get me a cup of coffee at Starbucks if I'm very lucky.
Yeah. And just recently down at La Jolla's Concourse, we ran into somebody that bought your one of your Ferraris too.
My burgundy one.
Yeah.
Well, that was the long wheelbase Scaglietti, California. And I traded in a 86 GCS 2000 Maserati that I'd gotten from a guy from Grand Rapids. And I traded him a 170 V Mercedes-Benz convertible where it had the side rails and it just pulled down the center. And the guy had it advertised. And I said, what do you want for it? He said, I'd trade the damn thing for almost anything. And I said, I got this one Mercedes. He said, okay, bring it over. And he liked it. He said, okay, I'll take it. And I said, well, how come you're selling it, man? This was a race car. This thing was, Moss did the million. And he said, every time I drive it, he said, the neighbors come out and hose me down, curse me out. And I said, oh my God. And as I'm driving away, the neighbor comes out with a hose. You son of a... So anyhow, I ended up trading it to Ed Juris for the long wheelbase California after I tipped the valves. And I got the thing home, and we had it for about a year, and kind of went to the races at Waterford Racetrack, and kind of got a little over my head in booze. And coming back, and a guy went by me in a brand new 427 Vet when it had just come out, and he gave me the bird. Well, I gave him the bird at 80, and he gave it at 90, 100, 130, went boom. I knew it was bad because you could see the dents on the inside of the left front fender. I knew I was in trouble. Ended up trading it straight across for a 190 SL convertible that had been made, cut in half, 2 cars, one hit in the front, one hit in the back, and glued together. Now, I get a call 2.5 years ago, and the guy says, I own the old California, Mr. Wales. He said, you were the 3rd owner, and I'm the 10th owner. And he said, what are you thinking? He sent me a picture. It was triple black. I said, it's wonderful, except it wasn't triple black. It was burgundy with a biscuit interior. He goes, a month later, he sends a picture, and it's burgundy with a biscuit interior. He did the whole thing. And I said, well, it's beautiful. How come you took it to Hyde Park to paint it, or to show it? And he says, that's not Hyde Park. That's my front garden. Okay. So anyway, we were at La Jolla. And a guy comes up. He says, I got your old car. I'm the 11th owner. And I said, how about that? And I got beautiful pictures of it sitting in it and talking to the guy and told him the story and everything. And I know the car costs $20 million. It's considered, the California Spiders are considered probably one of the most beautiful cars ever built, period.
Wow.
And that was $20 million. I had all these cars, super fast one, all these different, but I had them. I drove them. I raced them. I did everything with them. Never made any money with them, really, but had fun. So I guess I got the memories.
Yeah.
A little stupid, but still got the memories.
But who knew? You know? Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
So lesson to be learned out there, kids. Save your Hyundais.
yeah, save your Confederate money. The South shall rise again. Anyway.
Wow,
Well, that's
Gary.
my big one right here. This
Yeah, I
is the
like this
last.
one. I
This
was
was
admiring
absolutely
that.
the last George Barris Best of Show ever given.
Yeah.
I'm very, very proud of it. George was an awfully nice man. He came down while we were building the Batmobile, and he was in very, very poor health. And he came down about 3-4 times and blessed it. And he gave me one of these, the Barrett signature cloisonne crown. And he said, put that on it. He said, you'll be the only other authorized Batmobile other than mine. That was just a sweetheart of a thing to say. And that was George Barris. And he always had time for everybody. I don't care if you're a kid or not. I got into cars for the same basic reason. I was 12 years old, went to Greenfield Village. And they were having a classic car show, a Rolls-Royce Owners Club, I guess it was. And I fell in love with this car. I had an old Roadster there, and I fell in love with it. I just couldn't get away from it. Now, the hell with all the other cars. I'm looking at this one. And finally he said, young man, he said, do you like that? I said, I love that car. And he spent about 20 minutes with me, and he introduced himself. He was Jack Frost. How do you forget a name like that? So now fast forward 20 years. I'm at a car show, and Jack Frost is Rolls-Royce show. And Jack Frost is there, and I went up and told him, hey, you remember me? I'm that little kid. So that's why I always have time for little kids, because you never know how you're going to influence them. That changed my life. Between that and my wife, there I am, a car guy buried up to my head.
And I see that every show I go to, and you're there. Yeah, I see you. You're very patient with the young lads.
Yeah, well, you never know, man.
Yeah.
You never know who they're going to turn out to be.
Right.
They're going to make their life awfully nice. It's sure been good for mine.
Exactly.
Sure been good for mine. That's just Queen Victoria. That's one of her. One of those things. These are always going to get a kick out of. Yeah. It's just interesting things that are fun.
Yeah. Wow.
Interesting things that are a lot of fun.
Wow.
This is all the Bestioni stuff. They're all over the place, but the current ones are on the table when you came in. There are 10 wins there. Going to be some more before I'm done. Show them for the year.
Wow.
I wallpapered. This is all. I used to be a stockbroker for a few years, and these are all pre-1929. I wallpapered and stuff. Just. Kind of interesting stuff.
Using stock certificates to wallpaper your walls. Wow.
Oh,
Jeez, Gary.
I'll show you a few little things.
All right.
You want to see little things. When we did the great race, I had a big party here, and my neighbor Clayton Moore came over. He was a good pal. You know who Clayton Moore is?